that same thing that drives us to go, I just want the big win over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Is exactly what our parents did that taught us we had to earn love.
Born in 92 on the block with the Sharks. Come from a different cloth, y'all would get ripped apart. You want it diamond, then you gotta get it in the dark. We dropping nuggets like Carmelo went to Rucker Park. Now we eating from state to state, we scrape the plate. I put my eggs in a basket, took a leap of faith. I took a chance, now we grow and see the impact. Decoding success with special guests, now let's bring Matt.
Jason, from your vantage point, I'm really curious to understand, what do you feel like is the past pain that individuals feel like they have healed, but you know that it's still really running their life?
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think the one that I see show up the most often is when people feel like they had to earn love from a parent. And what they do is they tell themselves, well, now I found all different people. I found a way to be successful. And so now that I'm successful, I no longer have to worry about that. But what they don't realize is it's still going on. It's just on a larger scale.
So when it comes to earning love, because I literally felt that like hit me right in the center of my core.
That's what I'm going for.
This is what I'm always curious about, because I've had conversations with doctors, psychotherapists, like therapists, the list goes on, right? And one thing that I've come to realize, this might sound fucked up to say, but there is a certain level of benefit to pain, to trauma, to so on and so forth. So for example, an individual that is trying to earn love, I'm going to speak from my experience, goes out and tries to achieve more, goes out and like does all of these incredible things. Like, to me, that is a benefit. Now, I understand the motive behind it is to earn love. So my question to you then becomes, how do we find the balance of being fueled by pain versus like the negative side of it, where it could become self-sabotaging or detrimental or anything of the sort?
Yeah, you bring it to the foreground instead of letting it exist in the background. So the thing is, a lot of people I talk to, this is just a subconscious thing. They're not really choosing it. They're just using it. And so it's like it's constantly going all the time. And that gets them a long ways, but they're never really happy.
Yeah.
And so what we have to shift instead is, can you just choose this? Because to your point, a lot of people wouldn't work so hard if they didn't have that kind of upbringing. And so there is something to be said, although we wouldn't wish that on people, but there is something to be said about, you know, learning to work really hard. That's really important, and it drives people to success. I think a lack of awareness of that is actually more of the issue.
Yeah.
Right? So there's some degree of, we never really all get exactly what we need from our parents. We just live in an imperfect world, so it doesn't happen. But I think if we don't understand the role that plays in our life, we're driven by it instead of able to use it to kind of give us momentum and be the catalyst for decision and action.
How do you accept the fact of what you just said? And I loved it so much. Like, we don't always get what we need from our parents. I had this, I'm 33. I want to say I did not realize, this sounds so crazy. I didn't realize until maybe 2 or 3 years ago that my parents are also human.
Okay.
Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe I thought they were an alien. I don't know. But I never thought they were human. And then it just dawned on me, and I'm like, wait, my mother, my father, probably both going through their own shit. We're raising this little human, not just one, but I have a sibling as well. But like, how do we come to accept the fact that we're like, it's a reality, right? We're just not going to get everything we need from our parents. I think that in itself is healing to an extent.
Totally. Yeah. And it's true. Right. And I think what it gives us then is compassion for them. And I think in order to kind of get to that place where you realize that, you have to see you're not perfect either. I mean,
wait, I'm not?
Yeah, you're not. I mean,
I promise I'm not.
I love you, but you're not perfect, and neither am I. I mean, I've got 3 kids, and I'm a therapist. I've done probably more self-help and therapy than the average person times 10. And guess what? I still screw it up all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I love them any less. It doesn't mean I want to hurt them, or I want to be a person who doesn't deliver on what they need. It's just, it's my limitations because I'm imperfect. And so what I think is that every parent has that to some extent. Some have it more, and the ones that are most hurtful are the ones that have a lot of that and they don't acknowledge or accept that.
Yeah. Bring me back to your response from like finding a balance of like being fueled by pain and achieving benefit, and then also making sure that we don't go down the rabbit hole of all of the negative that can come about from it. You got me so enamored with the whole, like, we're not all going to get what we need from our parents, right? So bring me back to your response to that question so we can keep going down that topic.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is it drives us, right? So
Yeah.
it becomes a thing that is in the background. And
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's calling the shots. It's controlling us. And so what I try to help people do is just acknowledge that part is operating.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can work with it instead of being driven by it.
Yeah. And you mentioned something along the lines of, and correct me if I'm wrong for, I'm just going off what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that it's like underneath the surface, like we're not necessarily choosing to do this. It's kind of just like how we've been programmed to act. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
most of our life is subconscious.
Yeah.
Most of our decision making is subconscious.
Yeah.
So that's all based on the blueprint we got when we were kids.
Yeah.
And so we don't know the blueprint. We're destined to just replicate it.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people, and myself included, I left a childhood that was really painful. And I did that thing that kids do where they go, hey, I'm out. I'm never coming back. It's going to be totally different. You'll see. Right.
Yeah.
And then about 4 years later, I was living the same life that I left.
Yeah.
Right. But now I didn't have parents to blame.
Yeah.
Because now it was mine, right? Well, why was it mine? Because I didn't really think much about how I got there in the first place.
Yeah.
And so what people often have to do is figure out, like, what was the blueprint and do I want to keep it?
Did you feel like you fueled your own success, your own achievements with pain? Is that why you're in this work per se?
Yeah, I mean, it works. I mean, that's
the
hard
thing. It freaking works. And it's like,
it works. It's just it doesn't fulfill. So it works but doesn't fulfill. And so then you become that person where on paper everything looks great, but you're empty.
Yeah.
And that's really, really hard.
yeah. Do you feel like we have to hit rock bottom to change?
It has to hurt. Yeah.
So you believe that it actually has to hurt for us to make the pivot?
There's the easy way, the hard way. I don't know many easy way people. Do you?
No, I've asked this question a couple of times to individuals, not just from the psychology side of things, but like just, I'm thinking of one woman, like super, super successful entrepreneur, $1 billion entrepreneur sitting across from me. And she was like, a couple months ago I was at my lowest point, and I was like, well, did you have to get to your lowest point to make a change? And she goes, in this scenario, I did. And I'm just like, all right, well, if there's conversations like this that exist, why do we still need to experience the pain? Like, why do we still have to have it hurt to be able to make the change? It's almost like, I think about it often. It's like, well, I'm going to keep eating pizza, God forbid, until I have a health scare. Okay. And that, like, it's like we don't learn, but we know what we should do. Like, why is it like that?
Because it's not an issue of knowledge. It's an issue of action, right? So the thing is it's not, we all know the right thing. And honestly, the world we live in right now, we have more access to information than ever before.
Yeah.
So no one can really claim they're naive,
Yeah.
right? It's just we're not motivated to make change. We're not willing to take action. And the reason is comfort's a warm blanket. Comfort is waking up Saturday morning, wanting to lay in bed when you should go to the gym.
Yeah.
Which one do you pick?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. It is really hard, man. It is really, really hard. I mean, I also think there's the flip side of it. And this is something that I've been guilty of, where when you do start to pursue, like, looking in the mirror and turning inward, and then that's all you want to do. But what I've come to learn is that you can't, number one, you can't rush the process, and it has to happen when it's meant to happen. Like, I've been guilty of trying to uproot everything to, like, get to a place of complete.
Right.
And that doesn't work either.
I mean, it'd be awesome if it did.
It would be freaking great. That's why it's
you'd
like,
be bored. Imagine if you were able to do that. What would you do with the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Once you had it all figured out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard.
It would be really freaking hard.
Yeah.
It would be really freaking hard. Or it would be really fun. I don't know. But it didn't happen. It did not happen.
I think all the beauty comes from learning, right? And all the beauty comes from the process. And I think what we do sometimes is we open ourselves up and we say, I'm going to open myself up just long enough to do the work I need to do to be the person I need to be.
Yeah.
And then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you missed it.
Yeah.
That's not what the world is supposed to operate like. You're supposed to do this over a lifetime.
Yeah.
Because I think we all need to be able to look back every year and say, well, I grew this year. The goal isn't to stop growing, I don't think.
Yeah. How do you embrace the middle? And what do I mean by the middle is, okay, let's say an individual finally wakes up to the fact that they've been fueling their success, fueling their achievements with their pain. Okay, they wake up from that, they're working with you, they're working with someone, they're reading, they're doing something to overcome that and start to find that fulfillment. Now they're in the middle, and there's obviously still another layer that they can eventually get to. But how do you embrace like starting to make a transformation and then your next transformation, that in between period, right? Like that's what I was personally experiencing, where I'm like, okay, like I had a really big breakthrough in therapy, or I had this really big like realization and I feel so much better after it, but like I want to get to the next one. How do you embrace the middle between those?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard because we want to get to the end, wherever the end is.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you're saying, I'm just thinking, I've been in the middle, I think, for a long time, where I kind of hit something and then I get into like, well, now it's a little less defined. And so now I don't know what to do, but I want to get to the next thing. Right. But every time I get to the next thing, I want to get to the next thing. And so I think wisdom is learning that the middle part is most of what we live in. It's the middle part.
Yeah.
It's not the other.
It's like embracing the boring, right? Yeah. You know, especially as someone that has, and you could probably relate to this to an extent as well, like I very much so relate to earning love, and I think it's harder for people that have earned love that way because we were always seeking the high, right? The hit a home run in Little League, you're going to get attention. Win a game or whatever, you know, get a high score on a test, whatever that looks like, right? Like we were always seeking that. So even when we go through the healing process, like the middle just feels uncomfortable because it's just like not much is happening. Like there's not many highs.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. It's just life.
It's just life.
It's just life.
Yeah.
But I think that's where you have to slow down enough to pay attention to the things that matter most, but they're quiet. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that matter most in your life are not loud.
Yeah.
They're just consistently quiet, but they're there.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of the thing. And I laugh so much because I relate to that. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to release a book. Well, now, woo, that was awesome. Now what's happening the next week?
Yeah.
You know, or I'll speak and I'll do a big venue and I'll be so excited. And I'll go home, my wife will be like, well, why are you down this week? You know, last week was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Last week was amazing. Last week was amazing.
Yeah.
This week is just normal.
I need to be better at that. You're making me realize this as we're having this conversation. It's like you could so today actually marks 7 years of the podcast, which is like a really exciting time.
That's a big deal.
It's a really big deal. And
thanks for having me be part of it.
You are literally the interview that's happening on the 7th anniversary. Like that's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm so grateful for this. But I just think about it. Like I think there are times, and maybe that's why we doom scroll. Like we're looking for some chemical reaction or whatever it is, because we just don't embrace like nothing.
Well, and we lose the point, which is that it's okay to savor things.
Yeah.
It's okay to savor things, and it's okay to want things for a while.
Yeah.
And be wishful and to dream. Like all of that used to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Right? People had to wait a long time. You know, if they ordered something, it would take a long time to get there. They have to order from a catalog or something. And so it's like we sort of lost that. But the point I think I'd want to point out that's a little bit maybe different than most people speak about is that same thing that drives us to go, I just want the big win over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Is exactly what our parents did that taught us we had to earn love.
Talk to me about that.
Because they didn't want it boring either.
Yeah.
They wanted you to do the thing. Right. So they were the same people saying, hey, hit a home run this week. You know what you ought to do next week? Hit 2. Right. So what we don't even understand is we're just replicating that cycle.
Yeah.
Right. We're just saying, hey, it's not okay just to be average.
Yeah.
You have to woo me. You have to do something amazing, or I'm a little bored.
Yeah. How do you shift the intention of that? Right. And I'm kind of going back to that second question I asked you, but it's like, okay, cool. Like I would love to go up to the plate and hit 2 home runs the next time I'm there. Right. Like that to me is a good thing. Right. Like it benefits the team.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But how do you start to shift the intention behind that?
Yeah. I think it's really just looking at, I'm okay either way. This is just a bonus. That's it. Just a bonus.
I'm okay either way. As simple as that, guys.
It really is. I mean, I'm not a complicated fellow. Like I'm okay either way. Because if you approach a situation like that, it makes it fun.
Yeah.
But when we approach it as I'm not okay unless, there's a lot of pressure and it's not fun.
That I appreciate the simplification of this, right? I really, really do. What helps an individual adopt I'm okay either way, right? Like to me, and I'm just gonna rattle some things off. Like number one, I think you have to be really freaking okay with yourself to be able to do that. And I don't want to throw around the term self-love. I just think that gets thrown around all the time.
Sure.
And it could be self-love, right? It's just an acceptance of self. But I feel like that needs to be intact. I think you probably need to like feel secure in relationships, whether that be from a parental perspective or whatever, right? Knowing like, hey, maybe I'm not going to get the validation from them this time, and it's okay because I can self-validate. Like, what am I missing there?
Yeah, it's internal locus of control versus external.
There you go.
Right. So it's I know I am. That's it. I know I am. And instead of I am if it's okay with you. Right. So I'm doing this podcast with you, and my value is only there if everyone likes it. So I got to do a really good job tonight.
Yeah.
Right. And if I blow this, it's over for me.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I'm doing all right. I'm going to come in. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to hang out with my friend.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have fun.
Yeah.
And I'll be surprised if we don't.
Yeah.
And people probably like the conversation. But even if they didn't, like, I'm just going to leave here and go home to the people I love, and it'll kind of work itself out.
It will work itself out.
But I think you have to know what matters to be in that position. And it can't be everything.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes we're like, well, everything matters. Everyone matters. It's like, you can't please everybody. Pick a few.
Pick a few.
Yeah. And start with you.
That's the most important thing right there. Start with you.
Yeah.
But what if you does want to hit the 2 home runs at the plate?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Work
But if
really
you
hard to
don't,
do it.
okay, but if you don't hit them.
You didn't hit them. What do you got to do different?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's improvement. It's just refining. See, the thing is if I show up and I'm already okay, all I have to do is refine my efforts to keep moving forward.
That's it.
But if I show up with a deficit and I miss, now I have to go back to just get to 0. And so the thing is starting at 0 instead of having to get to 0.
Yeah.
And just say like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And what's simple about it and difficult at the same time is you just tell yourself that. When I walk into a big situation and I have this terrible habit of going like, everything rests on this.
Yeah.
Right. Like every time I go speak somewhere, I'm like, everything rests on this. I just go, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
So it's like a self-coaching type of thing that you do. Yeah.
Or even just saying, is that true?
See, I think that in itself is such a valuable skill for people to walk away from this conversation with. I recently graduated therapy with a woman that I was working with, and I'll probably one day go back, right?
Yeah.
But I recently graduated, and she, towards the end of our time together, she literally said, Matt, you've been with me for 2 years. Maybe it was 3, whatever it was. And she goes, I think the biggest skill you're walking away with is not, how to like navigate emotions that pop up or whatever it is. But she was like, I think you became a really good self-coach. And she was like, you have replaced me. And just hearing that is really important, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying though. And I think as I'm hearing you say that, one thing that I know I could do better is in those moments of when that chatter happens where it's like, well, if you don't hit the 2 home runs, like maybe something's not gonna be good or whatever. Like, is that true? A simple question like that, like the self-coach popping in and like talking back to the voice.
Yeah. Is it true? Whose voice is that? So sometimes I'll say that. Whose voice is telling me this right now? Yeah. Right? Is that my voice? And a lot of times it's not, right? It's a parent. It's somebody that, thought of you differently. It's someone who picked on you. It's like, who's telling me this? Yeah. And do I want to listen? Because I get a pick. I mean, I think what I love about your therapist is if we do therapy right, we empower people to do it for themselves. Yeah. It's a terrible business model, honestly. It's really bad.
It's not recurring anymore.
Yeah, it's like, if I do this really well, you'll quit. And it's like, oh man, we're terrible at business. But that is the love and the beauty of it. Yeah. Is you move on. And so I think once you kind of have that skill, you can do it all the time. But you just ask yourself, like, this thing I'm approaching right now, is it as high pressure as I'm telling myself? Yeah. Now here's the kicker. Sometimes it is. Right. I work with people who literally will be in a situation that is make or break their career. Yeah. Right. Or if you work with a surgeon and you're like, hey, don't worry, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal.
Yeah. There are high stakes moments in life, of course.
But the thing is I need to be able to look at which ones are and understand which ones aren't. Right. Because if I can't do that, then I approach everyone like it is, and just no one's going to be at 100 with that.
How do you gauge the moment then? Right. Because I'm guilty of this, and I'm sure there are people listening to this that probably operate life a little bit more serious than it actually is. So how do we, I understand like brain surgery is totally different, but
Right.
we could also find ourselves thinking we're the center of the world and everything like matters so much. So how do we gauge the level of the experiences to maybe ease up on that a bit?
Yeah, I think most of the time we're just not going to have a lot of those experiences. You know, that's one of the first things to acknowledge is, save that we have some really special job, you know, like if you're a brain surgeon, for instance, or, you know, you're a Major League Baseball player and it's a World Series. I mean, there's some places where people are going to have that more often than not.
Yeah.
But for most of us, there's just not going to be that many life-defining moments. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? And I think here's the funny thing. When there are life-defining moments, most of us just react in them anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And we get by.
Yeah.
That's how we got here in the first place. So I think the funny thing is we often overlook our own resilience, which is to say that we're resilient enough to get here. What makes us think we'll forget how to do that in the future?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That is good. You have me self-reflecting a lot in this conversation where I'm like, I still have so much more to go.
We all do. We all do. Me too.
So much more. Hey, so what do you feel like are the steps to actually processing the pain? Right? Yeah. I know that personally, I've done a lot of the talking, but I always felt like there was more to just talking. Right. And I'm not saying like I'm going to go and drink ayahuasca tomorrow, but like, what that's
what I was going to tell you to do. So you kind of killed it.
There we go. All right. There we go.
That was my answer.
That's it.
No, and it's funny that you ask, because a lot of people talk about, you know, the talking, you know, it's like, we're just going to talk about it. And I'm a therapist, so I don't want to betray my field, right? But talk isn't everything. I mean, I think talk is very important. It's part of the deal. But what I find with clients is that we need to then wrap that up into some sort of symbolic gesture or thing or service or event to kind of really capture the essence of what happened. Because really what we're trying to do is change our relationship with it, right? When we have a painful experience, the message we're given from that experience is usually false. Because what it is that message is true in that situation, but it's not a generalized message. Yeah. Right. And so what we often do when we have lasting pain and wounds is that we take a message that was for a one-off and we make it for everything. And so what I try to get people to do is just say like, hey, can we just single this one out though and ask if this is actually globally true or if it was single-handedly true. And then if it was single-handedly true, what is the message we should take from that and what's our relationship to it? So what if it is true for more than just that experience though? Right? Like an example, like what if you were neglected by a parent and pushed away by that parent or whatever, and you ask a client that question, or someone even watching this is thinking about it and it's like, wait, I have 10 moments that I could literally rattle off in the snap of a finger that make it feel like it's more true than just a single event. Yeah. Well, then it's something to be talked about. Okay. Right? Yeah, there you go. So then I just say, what's the pattern or theme? Right? So there's everybody else, but what is it about you that keeps putting you in those situations? Yeah. Right? And notice it's what is it about you? And people will say, well, I don't know. These people just find me. No, they don't. What is it about you? Right? Yeah. Well, I have low standards because I was taught not to expect much. Or I feel broken and so I put up with more. Or I find these people because they're comfortable to me. Yeah. But then we kind of go, okay, well, if it is true, great. There's going to be a few of those things that are. Yeah. Right? A lot of us, myself included, make the same kind of mistakes over and over and over again until we figure out why we're doing that. That's so fun. Yeah, it's you call it fun. Other people call it different F words, but yeah, fun is fine. But I mean, at the end of the day, we all do that. Yeah. So what I try to get people to see is like, you're going to give me an answer for why you do that, but I really want you to dig deep. Yeah. Because it's probably deeper than you're being honest with yourself about. Yeah. There's something under there that ties to something from the past. So what did you mean specifically when you were like, yeah, like talking about it is one thing and then kind of like creating a symbol around it? What does that mean specifically? Yeah. So once we have the message or the lesson, right, then we figure out a way to kind of make peace with that situation, make peace with that part of our lives and ourself, right? So for instance, if I'm a person who goes, I feel like I have to earn people's love. And, you know, here's the thing, Matt, it's the weirdest thing. I've dated 10 people who are super hard to please. Yeah. Right. And they don't ever love me and they end up rejecting me and I can never work hard enough. Okay. I go, okay, well, great. Let's talk about that. How do you think you end up there? Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't know. I just pick bad people. Okay. And then what?
Yeah.
And so what's usually underneath all of that is it feels like home. I know what to do, and I know what it's like to continue to mourn a love I didn't get. Okay. And so then we would say, well, how do we kind of put together something that is going to signal the end of this cycle?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess I'd probably have to love myself first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's put together an experience. I do a lot of experiential work. So let's put together an experience that replicates and shows you what it's like to love you first. Right. And we do something with that. Right.
Yeah.
It might be, well, I'm going to go take this big trip, or I'm going to enroll in something I've always wanted to do, or I'm going to get this or do that, but I'm going to do something just for me that's symbolic of this new chapter.
That's powerful. What if, when it comes to making peace with it, what if it's something that maybe repeats, even though you've removed yourself from the situation? Again, I'm going to go back to like the neglect of a parent or something like that. Now, you're an adult, you're out of the home, whatever that may look like, but we're in the midst of the holidays right now.
Right.
And that's a triggering time for a lot of people.
It is.
Right? Yeah. Being around those family members or whatever. And I'm just using family as an example, like first thing that came to my mind. So how do you make peace with something if you're still exposed to it to an extent? Can you make peace with something if you're exposed to it?
Yeah, I think you can. And in fact, I think we've gone a little bit the other way where it's like now we just run from it.
Yeah.
We're just like, this is difficult and hard. I don't want to talk about it, so I'll just avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make peace with it. I think what happens for a lot of people, we'll talk about family specifically, is we have expectations of people that don't match who they are. Okay, and those expectations are usually of what we wish we had.
So freaking good.
It's true, isn't it?
It's just so simple. And I mean, again, you're schooling me right now and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, you have an expectation of them. And it makes me think of like the whole new Mel Robbins theory, like the let them theory. Yeah. It's like, just let them be who they are.
If you love them.
If you love them.
Yeah, because isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want that from them, right? So it's like, well, we got to give it too. But what I think we do is we watch a movie, we read a book, and we just say like, that's awesome. You should be that person. And they go, cool, I'm not. And we're like, well, I'm disappointed then. You've now disappointed me.
Yeah.
And so people are like, well, I'm not really sure what to do with that.
So our expectation causes the suffering in this. I mean, in probably many situations, right?
Well, because it tells them how to act and it tells us how to act. And so the thing is, if I expect you to be a healthier person than you are and more engaged than you've ever been, and I put myself out there and I'm really vulnerable and you don't meet me, I've now hurt myself and I've hurt you. Right? Because neither one of us met expectation. And so now I'm really disappointed, I'm embarrassed, I'm wounded, and you're to blame.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm not saying everybody's got perfect parents if they just see them that way, but I'm saying like we have to get better at setting realistic expectations for people and letting them be who they are. You get to decide how much of that you want.
Yeah.
Right? So you might say, I love that. That makes me better. I want a lot. You might say, I know who they are, Jason. I've got realistic expectations and I just can't do it. Fine, but be honest about it.
So how do you, right, going down the family path, like how do you accept who a person is and just let them be that person, especially in the midst of the holidays, right? Meanwhile, like is there a particular practice? And maybe it's just like, I guess what I'm getting at here is a part of me is asking this question because on the inside, like what if that expectation still exists? Like how do you just vanquish an expectation?
Well, is it a hope or an expectation?
What's the difference?
Well, one we draw all these, I think fantasies around and we get hurt by. The other one is, wouldn't it be great if? Right? Wouldn't it be great if my dad could have this conversation? Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
That's different than I expect him to.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's like, well, that's awesome. Hey, today they did the thing that I hope they do versus I expect them to do it and now I'm unhappy they didn't. I think for me, what I try to do, because I love my parents, but they're not everything I wish they would be, right? But here's what I remind myself. I'm not everything they want either. Okay? So I come from a family, that is more blue collar than not.
Yeah.
And their dream was not to have a therapist son who just wants to talk about feelings.
Yeah.
There's no part of their plan where they're like, wouldn't that be so cool if he wrote books about feelings and talked about it and cried and did therapy stuff? Man, that's not what they want.
Yeah.
They'd love like a plumber or an engineer. And so I just have to remind myself like, hey, by the way, I'm not exactly who they want either. And they're still trying to love me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaking good, man. You have simplified all of this. Like literally have simplified it so well. It's super helpful. What's a question you wish more people would ask you? I mean, you're doing these interviews often, right? Like, new book on the horizon.
Yeah.
What's a question you wish more people would ask?
Boy, I mean, I think a question a lot of people talk about is sort of what they need to do, right? What they need to do. Jason, what do I need to do? And sometimes I just wish people would say, like, is it okay to just be me and be okay with that? You know, I've never been asked that question.
Yeah.
Is it okay to just be okay with who you are?
Well, is it because they don't know who they really are?
I think because in our society, there's just sort of this mass messaging that says, like, every day you got to get out of bed and you got to be somebody different. That's what you got to do. Like, however you woke up is great, but you'd be a little better if you worked a little harder today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just go, well, how's that panning out for all of us?
Yeah.
Not so hot.
Not so hot.
And what's true about us is some days we're going to be great and we're going to improve tenfold. And then there's every other day. Mm-hmm. And every other day we're just kind of us.
Yeah.
And so we can choose to feel bad about it or not.
Yeah.
Right. But I think, again, just some levity is like, keep working towards better. But at the end of the day, like, you're also who you are. You're not going to change that much. I mean, as a guy that's worked with now literally over 1,000 clients, like, you're not going to change that much.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's a hard pill to swallow, that we're not going to change that much.
Okay.
That's
the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can change a few things that we really have to. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm always like hopeful and optimistic. Like, you can make things different.
Yeah.
But even if you dramatically change your life, right? You live here now and you move across the world and you adopt a whole different lifestyle. I could still pick you out in a crowd. You could still pick you out in a crowd.
Yeah.
Because you're going to think the same. You're going to like some of the same things. So I think people have to come to terms with who they are and how they were born and try to make peace with that.
Well, how do you come to terms with it if, like, the whole premise of this conversation is feeling like you needed to achieve for love? Mm-hmm. So how do you come to terms with who you are if you felt like you needed to be someone or do something for love?
Yeah. Do you want to do that to yourself? So if you didn't like it from them, do you want to adopt it as an adult? Or what sort of approach do you want to take in your own life about love?
Yeah.
Right. The approach I want to take is, I wish I were different in so many ways. Right. I would have liked to have been tall enough to play basketball. I am not. Right.
You are. You could be point guard. You could play point guard.
Okay. I knew I liked you, but I mean, there are lots of things that I go, you know what? I wish I was better at that.
Yeah.
I wish I was, all the things, and I'm not. And I think what I try to teach people is it's okay to grieve some of that, and then go, well, what are you good at? Who are you really? And can you love that person? Because the challenge isn't trying to love yourself when, it's to love yourself now. And if you love yourself now, you're willing to do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I think, even you just saying it like, hey, you have to grieve, or you can grieve. Maybe you should grieve. Like, maybe I wasn't tall enough to play basketball, right? And that was a hope, a wish, a desire, something. How do you do that, though? Like, what does that grieving process look like if, like, that was on your heart?
Yeah. Bummer. Yeah, I mean, so what I would say is, like, when it comes up, you just go, yeah, that's the thing that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me sad that it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do I want to do with that? Mm-hmm. Well, time's passed. I mean, I guess I could... And here's kind of the cool thing. I could go get whatever surgery you get to be taller.
That's right? A thing now, man.
You could do all these things, and you go, cool, do you want to do any of that? And I go, well, not really.
Yeah.
And then I go, well, I must be okay with it.
Yeah.
I must be okay with it.
Yeah.
And then you just go, fine. So I think there's grief, there's acceptance and acknowledgement that it's like, of course we don't get what we want all the time. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we get what we need, but we don't always get what we want.
Oof. That in itself is good. Say that again. We don't always get what we want. We get what we need.
Yeah, and a lot of times we get what we need.
Yeah,
most of us do. There are people who don't, and that's that's a crisis that they have to work through. And so I don't want to like minimize people's pain if they're like, Jason, I am not getting what I need. That is a thing too.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like if you live where we live and you think how we think, like we get what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey everyone, pausing this episode to share something with you. In a world of hyper competitiveness, I think the best quote that I can share with you is that there is no one in the world youer than you, and that is truer than true, which is exactly why I wanted to share with you today about Brand Builders Group. It's an organization I've been working with over the last few months. It is absolutely incredible, and today I am sharing with you the opportunity to hop on a free brand call with a brand strategist to help you break through the wall of obscurity. We are in a hyper-competitive space at the moment, whether it be on social or with your podcast or with your blog or with your books or getting on stage. No matter what your endeavor is, this is an opportunity for you to hop on a free strategy call with someone from the team to be able to help you navigate the waters of making sure that you are breaking through the wall and taking advantage of all of the opportunities that you most definitely deserve. Again, there is no one in the world youer than you. So no matter what the problem is that you solve, there might be other people that are out there that also solve the same problem, but there is a strategy that could be placed into your initiatives that will help you break through that wall with speed. So I want to share this with you. It is freebrandcall.com/Matt Labrie. That is going to be in the show notes of this episode, whether you're tuned in from audio or through YouTube, whatever it is, freebrandcall.com/Matt Labrie. So this might bring the spiritual aspect into this conversation, but again, it makes me think like you're making me realize how much of our own suffering is caused by what we think we need, so on and so forth, an expectation of an individual, a desire from that, whatever it is, right? And I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, the things that we need, like, who do you feel like is determining that? Is it just, it's life's path, divinity, divine plan? What is that?
All the above.
All the above.
I'm a faith guy, so for me, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
But I think increasingly culture is telling us what we need, right? Culture is helping us define some words, what is safety anymore?
Yeah.
What is a need? What does it want? People wrestle with a lot of that. You think old school psychology, like they had a couple needs, right? And the needs were that you didn't die, right? So you would have food and shelter and some of those really simple things.
So they evolve.
Yeah,
right?
and now today we're like, well, it's 423 things, and if I don't get them, I don't get what I need.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, that's complicated.
Very.
How did we get here?
Very.
And so what I try to see is like, we are at the point, I think, in humanity, which is really awesome, where we have mastered some of the basic stuff so well that we can afford to worry about the small stuff. Right? Because you go back 200 years and you're like, hey, let's talk about how you feel. Do you think you're performed as well as you could have? You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm trying to live.
Yeah.
Right? So now we've gotten to a place where we've managed some of that, and not perfectly and not in all ways, but in a lot of ways, people have food and they have shelter. And so now we get the luxury of worrying about this stuff.
Yeah. Is it damaging to any extent that we now have the ability to focus on the small stuff?
If we can't stop, yes. Yeah, if all we do is look at the small stuff and we don't ever take a step back. And
what is the small stuff? Give me an example.
I think the small stuff is just, it's making like these little 0.1% shifts all the time.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if that's where we spend all our time, we're going to be chronically unhappy.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you ever meet those people who are just experts on something, they're really hard to talk to, actually.
Yeah.
Like the worst presenters are usually the experts.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they understand it at a level that a lot of people don't, and a lot of people don't want to. But if we're not careful, we kind of become those people, and then we project it on to relationships.
Yeah.
Right? So we go, I analyze myself with a magnifying glass every single day, all day, and now, Matt, I'm going to do it to you. And you go, cool, this sounds terrible, right? And then we're like, well, I'm all unhappy. And it's like, yeah, because we're trying to refine something, which is fun if that's your hobby.
Yeah.
But how are you doing generally?
Yeah. Yeah. So you bring up the word relationships, and I know I've had the honor of working with you in small, intimate settings, which has been fantastic. And I know you do a lot of work in that. What do you feel like when it comes to relationships, what's the thing that people are getting wrong?
What we just talked about.
Yeah.
We're looking at like decimal points, and it's making us really miserable.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think what's happened is we now have so much information telling us how people should be that we've forgotten to ask how we actually need them to be. Like, what do you actually need?
Yeah.
So what I have a lot of people do is they read a book or they listen to a podcast. They're like, this is the person I need. This is what they ought to say. This is how they should be. And I go, well, how does that resonate with you? And so I think what people miss in relationships is bringing their authentic self, seeing someone else's authentic self, and then just making a decision about how that works.
Is that more challenging in the time we're living in? I feel like it's insanely more challenging, right?
Yeah, everybody's promotional now, right? So it's all kind of this PR thing where we're just putting this version of ourselves out there.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about it, right? Because you mentioned something along the lines of like, hey, like, how about you just wake up and just be you?
Yeah.
I will put this out in the public. I am not fully myself. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm inauthentic. I just think I'm reserved. Right. On social media, not necessarily on the podcast. Cause like if someone watches this, like you're getting the real me right now. Like this isn't
like
fake,
you or they don't.
Right. But like, I think there's, the fear of talking about politics, the fear of talking about this, the fear, like all of these things. And it's funny, the people that actually build, and I'm not even talking about just followers on social media, but I see it, like the people that build these authentic followings and businesses, like they are so themselves.
Yep.
Like, and they don't have that fear of not being liked or not being judged. They know who they are. They show up authentically. They're in those healthy relationships, which is why I'm bringing it up. Mm-hmm. So again, it's just another awakening as I sit here across from you. It's like, man, there's such a need for like showing up fully. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, I'll just say for me, I'm not good at that.
Why?
I think I've just tried to be vanilla ice cream my whole life, right? I want to go with everything. And some of that's my job, right? As a therapist, my job is to kind of be friends with everybody and have a relationship and resonate. And so that was a perfectly suited role for me.
By the way, you're not vanilla. I mean, can we zoom in on the sneakers? Like this guy got flavor over
There's
here.
some things. Some things. But let me tell you something. It's taken me a lot to do those things because it feels like a risk. And it sounds silly because
what is the risk though?
The risk is to be rejected for who you really are.
See, I think that's what it is for me too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if I didn't try so hard to be this person. And it's, by the way, what's funny is we just make up who we're supposed to be, by the way. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's even our own made up version of what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But then if I'm not that person and I'm just really me, someone might catch me in a vulnerable moment and reject me. And I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I'll just water everything down to kind of be everybody's thing.
Yeah.
Right? But then we dilute who we really are.
Yeah.
And I think that creates regret because we get to the end of our life and they go, hey, you got one life, right? How'd it go?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know. I mean, I did some things and they're like, hey, did you do what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know. It wasn't really cool to do that. So I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the relationship aspect and authenticity here, like how do you suggest to an individual to not just show up authentically, but providing a safe enough space for a potential partner to do the same?
Yeah, you got to let them have an opinion, right? So if you want somebody, you got to let them say what they want.
Yeah.
You got to let them be who they are and not punish them for it. Right? So a lot of times you go, hey, tell me what you want. Tell me what you think. And people do it. And then you come down on them. It's like, well, why'd you ask for that?
Yeah.
Right? So there's that. I think if it's for you and you're like, how do I be authentic? The two biggest things, say no and tell the truth. That's it. A lot of people don't say no, right? They just say yes only. And a lot of other people, they don't tell the truth. And not to say like, well, you're a liar. They don't really say what's true.
Yeah, they don't give the full truth.
Yeah, hey, do you like this? Do you want to do it? I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Is that people pleasing? What is that?
Yeah, that's just sort of this idea of like, I'll just go with, I'll go along to get along. I'll do these things, which we all have to do to some extent.
Is it manipulative if you allow someone, like you notice that in someone and you just let them keep doing it?
What do you mean? Like if they...
I mean, if I'm dating someone and I'm noticing that person is just like always going with, like fearful of saying no. I mean, maybe we're not supposed to parent someone that we're in a relationship with either. So maybe I'm answering my own question.
You said it.
Right? Yeah, like don't parent someone else.
Unless they're asking for that and you like that. I mean, I think that's probably not what you want.
No, not at all.
But I mean, I think sometimes it's interesting because I get to give people permission to be who they are.
Yeah.
Then I just go, okay, you don't like that. And they're like, but Jason, everyone else loves it. I'm like, I don't care. You don't.
Yeah.
So don't like it. That's okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like going down the path of like relationship talk. Like I feel like I'm mind blown every time I have one of those conversations because it feels way more complex than it needs to be right now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very complicated.
it's insane. And I just think there's so many aspects that have like opened up in this dating world. And I'm like, I'm 33. This did not feel like this. I'm 33 and single. This did not feel like this not even 5 years ago. Where
What do you feel like has changed?
everything. I mean, there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's such a gap, even from like a political alignment perspective. Obviously, I think that's pretty indicative of values. So there's the value gap now. Like, everything is just, and maybe because life is a little bit more serious the older you get, right? Like, I mean, my parents are divorced, right? So like, I don't want to go down that path, but also I don't want to like have my hands and try to control every little thing.
Right.
But I think everything is just so much more under the microscope, and there's a lot of slides that are under the microscope right now. So it's like a focus on a lot.
I mean, I hate that, but that's well said.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And so you kind of sit down for a meal and you're like, let's get our microscope out. And,
back in the day, man, like back in the day, it was like, oh, this might sound like not vague, but like, kind of fucked up in a way. But like, my first thing is if I find the person attractive, that's my first step.
Okay.
Like physically attractive, right? Like
that's just start.
That's a good start. Like I want to be physically attracted to my partner. Back in the day, it was, hey, I think this person's attractive. Let me ask them out. Now I think what dating is, and people call it intentional.
Sure.
Right. And I think that this intentional is, let's not even go out. Let's find out all this information first. And it's like, no one has time to wait. It's just so complex.
Yeah. And then does it get there? I mean, do you get to the date, or do you find a lot of times
I probably could.
you have the pre-screen and you're kind of exhausted? And
I'm not against the pre-screen, right?
Okay.
Like I think like, hey, especially if you're meeting someone online or whatever it is, you want someone to feel safe with you, especially from a male perspective. Like,
but it's like, how far does that go?
Sometimes it goes too far. People take it too far. And not even just from my perspective, right? I'm not like openly dating right now, but like friends, like I hear the stories and I'm like, what is happening in this world?
Yeah.
Like, it is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think we needed it. So it was like, and I always say the opposite of one extreme is another. You know, I think we had none of it. And we're like, oh, this is bad. This doesn't work. We need to try harder. And it's like, okay, well, let's swing to the other side. Now we'll do all of it. Yeah. And it's like, well, where's the middle? You know, we struggle with the middle.
I hope the pendulum swings back to the middle soon, because it's like a wild, wild world. That's what we're in, right? Yeah. So we're going to embrace it.
That's our generation. It's the thing we're in, is I think we're trying to figure out what to do with the knowledge we have.
Yeah.
And how to be happy with it.
Yeah. We're adapting so fast as a culture, as society, that I hope that, especially in the realm of dating, I hope that the pendulum can find time in the middle again before like the next thing is about. And just like with everything happening, I hope that's the case. So
yeah, we need relationships.
I think it's so incredibly important. Like, looking back on like my most recent past relationship, it's one of the happiest times of my life. You know, like having that partner, having that support system. I feel like we're so isolated as individuals these days, and that's troubling.
Yeah. Because it's almost become easier not to than to try.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. It's the comfort of being alone, right? It's the comfort of being alone, because it's not easy when you're looking in the mirror every single day.
Right.
Literally.
It's tough work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
No.
That is not easy whatsoever. But hey, man, I want to dive into this new segment we've been doing, the Finish the Sentence segment. I don't have a name for it. We're just calling it.
I think that's a great name.
The Finish the Sentence segment. These are just like some random sentences that I feel like are in alignment with your work, parts of this conversation that I would just be really curious to know, like, what your thoughts are.
Okay.
So I'm going to read these off to you. I have a couple here. The first one is, healing your past is not about erasing it. It's about,
I would say, changing your relationship to it.
Changing your relationship to it. And we've obviously talked about that a little bit here in this conversation. Bringing us back to how to change your relationship to it. Give us like a step-by-step.
Yeah, we have to tell the story. right?
Tell the story in regards to the
Yeah,
experience.
what happened, right? So we have to tell the honest story, right? So a lot of times what happens is that we sort of have this story in our mind that we just replay, and we have to go back and say, let's actually talk about details. So what actually happened about that? So we tell the story, we understand the why behind it, if we can, right? Now, some things happen, there's just not a good why. We just don't get that in this life.
Yeah.
But if we can understand the why, we try to understand that. We try to understand how and what and who and those things. And then what we decide is, what did I take away from that?
Yeah.
And what's maybe more true today, right? And so that changes our relationship. So for instance, if you're a kid and a terrible thing happens, right? And I might give you an example. When I was a kid, I was in oral interp, and so I loved to speak, right? If you can imagine that. Loved to speak, made it to finals, got to finals, locked my knees, and fell off stage, passed out, fell off stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Hilarious to everybody else, right? And I'm not a quitter, so I got back up, tried again.
Yeah.
Right. And so they ushered me out. Okay. Most embarrassing thing ever. Okay. So what I took from that story is that I should never speak again. I was terrible at it. And then if I put myself out there at all, it would end in embarrassment. Okay. So I walked out of that and I said, okay, I kind of have like a couple goals in my life. Number one, don't be embarrassed. Number two, don't put yourself out there. And number three, be small so that people don't notice you. Okay. Do you think that I should let that be the lesson in my life?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, you can say that.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm in it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm living my life and I'm going, remember what happened. Remember what happened. So as I tell you that story now, how I had to kind of look at it is I had to say, like, well, put it in context.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know what I didn't know. Probably shouldn't lock your knees if you're going to recite the Odyssey by Homer. Right. That's probably a bad idea. Okay. If it's really hot, you should probably have some water, so I kind of filled in some gaps. And then I said, what did that tell me about then? Okay. Well, I did it in a way I wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What can I appreciate about that? Well, I put myself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what do I do now? Well, I guess I want to try again.
So pausing you there real quick, like you appreciate the fact that you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
What if that's a truth, but you don't mean the truth? Meaning, like, what if you don't feel that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can sit here and obviously I didn't live that experience.
Sure.
Right. But you're saying like, hey, I appreciate the fact that you put yourself out there wholeheartedly. That is something that should be appreciated. But what if you don't feel the appreciation for doing that?
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's answers there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what can you appreciate? So if not that, what could you appreciate about the story? And sometimes there's not a lot, right? I mean, if it's like, well, there was a terrible car accident or there was abuse or something, like, what do you appreciate about that?
Yeah.
You might say nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, Jason. But you might look at it and go, well, I appreciate actually my resilience. I kept going.
Yeah.
I've carried this burden for a long time. And there's strength in that. I don't want to carry it anymore.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of, what do I appreciate about that? And then what does it tell me about me today?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what it tells me about me today is I can figure out how to get on stages. The trick is staying up there. That's what that tells me about today. Okay. So I go, okay, well, great. I got to strategize for how to do that.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good. Hey, so going back to that first step, bro, like tell the story. Does it matter if it's your version of the story or maybe someone else that's like in the experience? Because oftentimes, like, there might be two different interpretations of one shared experience. Never.
I'm just kidding.
Never.
We're terrible eyewitnesses. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what's so funny is like everyone can see the same car accident and a week later, no one can be trusted to answer what happened.
Exactly.
So the thing is, in my office, people will tell me a story and they'll say, hey, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something about me that happened to me. And my parents would say it differently. My sibling, my wife, whoever would have a different story. And I go, okay, I'm interested in your story.
Okay, so our story is what matters here.
Yeah, because that's the basis for what we tell ourselves about how to act.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you see it?
That's important.
Yeah.
And then the second step you gave me was like, why? Does why, like, does there always have to be a why?
No, because some things can't be explained, right?
Okay,
the why is important, though, because if it was a childhood story, as kids, we're the center of our own universe.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so everyone, it's kind of cliche now, but they're like, if parents get divorced, you know, they got to tell the kids it's not their fault.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, why do they have to do that? And it's like, because kids think it's their fault.
Yeah.
Okay. So the why is like, well, there's the child explanation of that and the adult explanation.
Yeah.
So the child version might be, I ruined my parents' marriage, right? I broke that vase. And if I hadn't done that, dad wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
Right. And you go, oh, okay. What's the adult version though?
Yeah.
Well, they were really unhappy for a long time and their relationship was already over. It had nothing to do with the vase.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to understand is like, can we update our explanation of why that happened? Because chances are it's a childlike version of that we've just never really addressed.
See, dude, this is what happens when you do finish the sentence. That was just one, and you gave me all of that good stuff, dude.
One.
That was just
4 hours
one.
later, you're
there
like,
we go.
Jason,
That's exactly what we're looking for. I got a second one for you.
Yeah.
If you want to stop self-sabotage, the first step is what? Or the first step is ...
Let yourself fail.
Let yourself fail.
Yeah.
Why? How does that relate to self-sabotage?
Because self-sabotage is, I don't want to put myself out there all the way because I might actually fail. Right? I might get to a place where I'm rejected, I fail. And so here's what's funny about people who do that. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Is we all have a made up story about what it looks like to fail.
So I'm interpreting this even beyond. So here's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Can you rebuttal that and say, let yourself be rejected if you're not showing up authentically? Right? Like, because that is a form of self-sabotage too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Show up.
let yourself be rejected.
Yeah. Let it happen. See what happens.
But that's the problem. People don't want to see what happens, including me.
Yeah, but here's what happens. You're fine. And you're more confident.
Yeah.
Because it's you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's really interesting because we all have these moments in our life where we are ourselves, usually in failure, and it kind of clears the room. Okay? And people always go, oh man, this is the worst day of my life. It's terrible. But here's what you get out of that deal is you know who's for you and who's not.
Yeah.
Okay? But what a gift to know that. But I'm just going to say, like, you don't actually have to implode your life to get that gift. Just be you.
Be you.
And let them fail or let them leave or let them reject you or do whatever and know that that's part of it.
That's so freaking good. That's really, really good.
Yeah, because also your version of failure is so much different than everybody else's.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, okay, well, I'm going to let myself fail on this one, Jason. And you're like, well, what's that look like? And they're like, well, instead of getting a 95% on the test, I'm going to get an 80. And I'm like, so that's letting yourself fail.
So then is it important to define what failure is to you?
Totally. Yeah. And a lot of times we have these sky high expectations.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm afraid of not being perfect. Well, I'll make it easy for you. You're not perfect. You don't have to be afraid.
That's really good because I think we probably have, like you just mentioned, like these crazy, crazy ideas of what failure is. And by putting yourself out there in that way, you're most likely not going to fail to the extent in which you think you are, quote unquote, fail, right?
And if you
That's
do,
so good.
And if you do, there's a major lesson to be learned. Right. So we don't want to be careless, but here's what I know, which is what I'm sure you know, and working with a lot of successful people, is the people who are most successful, they have an intimate relationship with failure.
Very good.
Yeah. And they go, hey, this is part of the deal.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, well, I'm afraid to even get within the stadium of failure.
Yeah.
And they're like, I live there, brother. This is every day. That's where I live. Right. And those people do big things.
Yeah.
Because if it's big, you're not going to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get it right.
Yeah. That's so good, man. That is so good. I'm going to give you one more finish the sentence here before I have a few other questions, and I want to plug in the new book, which we'll talk about. We didn't really go down this path. We kind of did. We called it pain. But what is the most common myth about trauma? The most common myth about trauma is what?
That you have to examine every trauma you ever had.
That is so good. Why do you not have to?
How do you examine every trauma you ever had? Yeah, and it's ongoing. We're always being wounded and hurt.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's kind of like we talked about, if we decide we have to look at that and only that, it's always C. Okay? And so what I try to work with people on is what's actually holding you back. Like maybe there are some really bad things that happen, but they aren't actually holding you back.
Yeah.
And then do we need to be archaeologists and dig everything up with the hopes of finding more? or is some of it just things that happened?
How easy is it to identify the overwhelming life experiences that are holding you back?
It's just repeated feeling stuck. Like where we feel stuck repeatedly, there's work to be done.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so
If you're not feeling stuck, it's probably not an issue.
Yeah. I love that, man. I love that. Hey, so new book coming out, Discovering Your Communication Type, in April of 2026, but the pre-order is already available. So we're going to make sure that link is in the show notes in the description of this episode on YouTube and audio-wise. If someone picks up this book, let me backtrack. When someone picks up this book.
When they pick up the book.
When they pick it up, if they could only take one thing away from it, what do you want that one thing to be?
You will better understand what about communication matters to you, and then you know who to talk to about that.
Okay.
So the book helps you understand, why do I communicate the way I do, and why does it matter?
Is communication also maybe a shutting down and not communicating? Is that discussed?
Yeah. Why do I lean in? Why do I lean out?
Yeah.
Right. So the book is really about self-awareness and how to use self-awareness to better connect with others.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people, we look at how to talk to other people, but we don't look at why it matters to us.
Yeah.
So we find ourselves kind of parroting, well, you should say this to them. Right. And it's like, well, sure, but how are you wired?
Yeah.
Does that matter to you?
Yeah.
Right. And so what a lot of people miss is what matters to them. And if we know who we are, we know how to connect.
Yeah. That's really freaking good. That
I
is
hope
really,
so.
No, that's really, really good. So again, that book is going to be out April 2026. The pre-order link is in there. Anything else we should let people know about regarding the book?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be an assessment with it, and I think it's really going to help people a lot in relationship. You know, the thing I hear over and over again from couples, the biggest issue, communication. And that's really what prompted this book, is that my whole life I have struggled to really connect with people in the way that I want to. And then becoming a therapist, I got a lot of practice with couples trying to figure out, how do I get them to actually communicate?
Yeah.
And this book is from that. So it's a meaningful book to me, but I think it's going to really help people.
I love that. Yeah. It's important. That's important. That's great. I mean, we're never really taught how to communicate in that way, right? And I'm sure the stakes are a little bit higher when you're communicating with someone you made a life commitment to.
Yeah, or even just someone you're working with or parenting or friends with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the good news about this, it can be used in any relationship. And what I'm really trying to do is help people fast track that development of relationship.
Yeah, that's really good, man. That's really good. Hey, I'm excited for that. Again, that pre-order link is out there. Do we get anything if we pre-order the book?
Yeah, you'll get
some pre-order
there
bundle
will be an
stuff?
assessment.
Okay, the assessment you mentioned. Okay,
yep.
Cool. I love that. I love that. Hey, Jason, I got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
This one is one of my favorites to ask.
Okay.
If I knew what you know, how would my life be different? Hypothetical.
Yeah,
obviously.
You journal a lot more. I would tell you that.
I love journaling.
Yeah, you would journal a lot more. If you knew what I knew, that's a good question. I think you'd probably know how to take a step back and just to say, like, hey, really, how big of a deal is this? And how much do I really need to do? And what would it look like if I was just okay?
Yeah. Is that a journal prompt right there? How big of a deal is this?
Yeah. I mean, I think what all of my training has taught me is something so simple.
Yeah.
Which is just to know who you are and try to love that person. And that it can be as complicated as we want. But when we do that, then we know who other people are and we love them.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a pretty simple thing, but it has taken me such a long time because I had to wrestle with what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm being really honest, I always wanted it to be more complicated. I want it to be harder, right?
Why though? Because this is interesting to me. Why do you want it to be harder?
It just shouldn't be that easy, right?
I mean, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then what?
That's why this whole conversation, I'm like, wait, that was like so much easier than I thought. Right? Like this whole conversation was about simplification, the through line of it all. And it's like, wait, it's just that simple. So why do we try to make things harder though? Is it like to delay maybe our healing or something of the sort? Like what are your thoughts there?
Because it gives us something to talk about. right? It gives us something to work on. It gives us some purpose. I think a lot of us are struggling with a lack of purpose. And so we have a lack of purpose. We spend a lot of time talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not really sure what we're for. And when you're aligned with your purpose and you go, this is who I am and where I'm pointed.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff just isn't that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we overcomplicate life. And when I say we, I mean me.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm right there. That's why I like to do what I do.
Yeah.
But I had to learn to turn that off.
Yeah.
Because there's times and places where it's actually not helpful. Right? So if I take my gifting and I go to my kids and I go, let me help make you better in every single way, it's actually not good parenting.
Yeah.
Right? If I go to my wife and I go, well, you're really great as you are, but I got a list of like 14 things you should probably do. She doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm
so
sure.
So the challenge is like, can I just not do that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Last question for you here. And again, I just want to make sure everyone that's watching and listening to this knows that you could pre-order the new book coming out in April right now. Don't wait for that. Get on that pre-order so you get all the goodies that come with it. Furthermore, Jason's websites, socials, YouTubes, all that type of stuff will also be in the show notes. Anything else that we should be putting in there before I ask you this last question?
No, that's
we covered the bases.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question for you. You make it to whatever year you want to live to.
Okay.
You impact as many lives. You get these books in as many hands as you want. Everything you want to do is accomplished and achieved. But when we think of you, we can only remember you for one piece of advice. And it's like, hey, I just thought of Jason. Like, this is what's ingrained in my mind every time I think of him. What's that piece of advice?
Man, that's good. Yeah, good questions.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's maybe not as hard as I make it out to be.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Just remember, like, it's not as hard as you make it out to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it that?
Because I think that's what woundedness teaches us.
To make it complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, is that it's got to be hard. Right? And it's just, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
You can just love somebody. It can be a little messy. They cannot be perfect. You cannot be perfect. Like, it doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah.
You can make it hard.
It just doesn't have to be, though.
Yeah, and I always say to people, like, you can do life on hard mode. I'm a hard mode guy. I'm like, man, this would be really easy to be happy, but I'd like to challenge myself, right? So I want to make it a little harder.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it's just like you're starting from being okay, and everything else is bonus material.
Yeah.
And so you get to decide what expectations go with that. But if you can just kind of remember, like, this is all a bonus.
Yeah.
You're always going to be mostly okay.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that. I am also a hard mode guy. I'm literally sitting here saying to myself, dude, turn off fucking hard mode.
Every time I play a video game, it'd be like
hard.
Easy, medium, and it'd be like deadly hard, you know? And I'm like, I want to lose all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But then we pick life. And we just go, let's make this just as hard.
Yeah. That's so freaking interesting, man. Hey, super, super grateful for this conversation. This was awesome. Like, thank you so much for being here in New York, for being here on the 7th anniversary of the show.
It's a big
nonetheless,
day.
Like, I really, really appreciate that. For everyone, again, link to the book, show notes, websites, socials, all of the things in the show notes. But Jason, thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And you know, my hope is always just to be helpful. Like I just show up and I go, I want to help people. And so that's my hope tonight. But I just want to give you a compliment because, man, you got good questions.
I appreciate it.
And this show is amazing. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This was great.